Hello, business building warrior. Welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. I'll be your host today, Jim, and I'll be bringing a guest on in just a moment. Like we've done so many times around here, we love bringing you a parade of successful, proven Amazon course students. That's right. This is the podcast of the flagship Amazon seller training course in the world. We've won so many awards. This podcast was voted top podcast for Amazon sellers. Our event coming up in May was voted top reseller event. That's The Proven Conference. If you want details, theprovenconference.com. So you're in the right place if you're looking to use the internet creatively to launch and grow a beautiful business. And we believe around here that unless you have a really good reason to start somewhere else, the best place to start is Amazon. And that's what our guest today did. His name is Brendan. Like I told you a moment ago, he's going to be our guest here in just a minute. We'll get him on the line. But he's been with us less than a year. He very quickly built a beautiful business. He was doing about $10,000 a month in sales at really good margins, but he started diversifying into some other opportunities based on that foundation. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And it's going really well. You've told us that you love hearing from guests who were on our show a while back, and we want to check in and see how they're doing now. Hey, we love doing that too. If you know of someone that should be on the show, or maybe you should be on the show because you've built a beautiful business based on the strategies we teach around here, hey, reach out to us. We'd love to get you on the show. Maybe it's been a while. Maybe you're a listener who was a guest in the past. Check in with us. Let us know how it's going. We'd love to hear an update. It just continues to validate the story after story after story from people from all walks of life. Today's guest, he used to be a fireman. He was doing a little real estate on the side. He was on our show back in summer of less than months or so ago, summer of 2024. Now here we are, early 2025. He's bringing us an update. His business has shifted and morphed. But the observation I want to make before we jump into this conversation is he's leveraged relationships at every step. He's having conversations. He's engaging. If he goes to a retail store, he's talking to the manager. In our community, he's talking to his coach. He's built relationships, in other words. So that's the key to your future, to your success in this business. If you think you're going to do it all alone and just study the charts and the data and make good decisions, hit some buttons and make money, those people tend not to do as well as the people who truly engage. And you're going to see it in his demeanor and his story. He's excited. He can't wait to see where this goes next. He's got a very small team, one virtual assistant. We talk a lot about how he pays his virtual assistant, how much he pays them, what jobs they perform. They're in the Philippines, where the US dollar goes really far. And you can hire someone for just a few dollars per hour and completely change the trajectory of their family. On that island, $1 an hour US is the average hourly wage. So you give someone a job for $2, $3 an hour, you've completely changed their life. They've got internet. They love working for Americans or any kind of westernized business. They love being able to be creative online and apply their skills and improve themselves for just a few dollars an hour. That's pretty cool, right? So we spend some time talking about that. One of the modules that we have inside the Proven Amazon course, by the way, talks about how to find, hire, train a virtual assistant for your business. We'd love to help you with that if you need some help. Last thing I'll mention before we jump over to our interview with Brendan today is you need to make plans to be with us in May of 2025. The last 3 days of May, we're going to Orlando, Florida, just like we did last year, same place actually. We had hundreds of people from this community, listeners to this show who attended. We'd love to have you there with us. Brendan unfortunately can't make it this year, but many of our guests, most of our coaches from our team, many great leaders, the great stories and good people from our Facebook group that maybe you've interacted with, they're all going to be there. It's going to be a time of great encouragement. We'd love to have you there as well. One last thing, I probably should point this out. It'll be in the show notes as well. We spend a good amount of time today talking about the above buy box strategy for selling on Amazon. What's that mean? Well, it means you can price boring everyday products that a lot of other people are selling well above buy box and sell very consistently at great margins the same product that other people are selling for less. We explain how that works, why it is. We dive into it just a little bit. There's some resources in the show notes today, completely free, where you can go research that opportunity a little bit so you can begin to grasp just how expansive this Amazon opportunity is. It's not a matter of winning by being the low price to win sales on Amazon. What you've got to do is put the right products into the right places where they can be bought quickly and easily from shoppers. And there's so much demand there that's far bigger than the supply on so many great products right now, and there's huge opportunity there. So we spent a little bit of time talking about that as well. Well, that's enough announcements. Let's jump over and spend some time with Brendan. So Brendan, welcome back. Good to see you again.
It's good to be back, Jim. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you carving out some time, and I'm looking forward to hearing some updates. I know you've changed some things around in a good direction. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So things totally changed from when I started in March of 2024. So not even 12 months ago. We're just saying that our first podcast we did, it was either July or August, shortly after the conference in Orlando.
Right.
And so pretty much now I would say 90 to 95% we're doing wholesale versus, I was doing mainly OA replens. So completely changed gears, been going to a couple of trade shows, working with local suppliers and just reaching out to different suppliers that I find, and trying to get those accounts.
I love seeing the progression. Not that everyone takes the same progression you do, but I love seeing the progression of sellers who, through typically relationships and conversations, go where the opportunity takes them. So talk me through that a little bit, because you were doing well with OA, but what is it that made you say, okay, I like this better? Like, talk me through that transition.
That's a good question, Jim. So I think I knew early on, even when I started doing OA, I knew that my future with e-commerce was going to be some form or fashion of wholesale. Building those relationships, whether it's with local suppliers, locally owned retail stores, and then just traditional wholesale suppliers that you find from trade shows and other methods. And that is, I just had to feel. I work in real estate, and I talk to people every day, and I figured I am better face to face building that relationship than I am necessarily behind a computer scouring, different OA methods and doing things like that. So it was great to do that, to learn the business and figure things out. We got to about a consistent 10,000 a month doing OA, little bit of RA here and there. And then now it was October would have been the first month that we started selling our wholesale inventory. So September was opening the accounts, placing orders, getting them in. So just a couple months now we've been doing wholesale. We've been doing a consistent 20K a month right now. Working on some capital restraints, but which is okay. We took us a while to figure out how to cash flow everything. And I figured, I wanted to pump the brakes, try not to scale too quickly. Let's cash flow, 10 to 12,000 a month in inventory spend, and we've been doing 22,000 a month in sales. So
yeah, that's beautiful. When you say we, how big is your team?
Me, my wife has been helping me out a lot, and then I do have a VA, a full-time VA.
Okay.
So we do all our own prep. We prep in our garage. So yeah, it's really called the three of us. So
that's fantastic. What does your VA do for you? I assume some of the sourcing.
He pretty much does all the sourcing. Yeah, he'll do all the sourcing. I'll handle restock. We do use 3P, which we absolutely love. It's so essential for our business, which I know we'll get into talking different points about that. But that's, our biggest thing is we try to stay consistent with shipments. So every week and a half, I try to get a shipment out to keep that flow going in and never waiting on one specific shipment to land. So.
Right. There's just the consistency that Brian and Robin Joy always talk about, the consistent key, right? Like that's.
Heard them say that.
If you can get your routine, that's how and I love your slow and steady wins the race approach as well. I'd far rather see that. We've had some students lately come into our coaching program and they say things like, I've only got 30 to 50,000 to put into this. What should I do? Like, keep all that money in the bank. We're going to use a few dollars at a time to prove this process out, to scale slowly, to make sure you're not making any dumb decisions that you'll regret later, and follow the rules, right?
Exactly.
And then start to, like you said, let's be responsible and cash flow this thing. And some people do get some loans, but you don't want to go any deeper than your risk tolerance can, match. Yeah. So you sound like you're doing a really good job So yeah, talk me through anywhere you want to go from here. I'm loving the update, man. And like you
Yeah.
said, you haven't even been in our community a year yet, and
Yeah.
you've already kind of
No,
pivoted.
not I know. So yeah, I mean, even a couple other things. Walmart, we've got my wife is really the one kind of heading up Walmart, and
Outstanding.
it's been mind blowing. I mean, everything we're selling is like 100% ROI, if not more, and
Mhm.
it's crazy. So we've been doing Walmart as much as we can, pretty much doing all WFS with that. Super excited for the Walmart integration with 3P.
Mm.
I did get hit with a Section 3 in December, which, just like we all say, everybody tends to freak out as you can, but you source from reliable suppliers and retailers, keep your records. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be okay. And having 3P made my life so easy. What ASIN is my Section 3 on? Okay, pull it up. Here's my purchase order. Here you go. I do have Jeff Schick on retainer, but he didn't really need to step in on this Section 3. It was just nice, cut and dry. I was up and running in like 4 days. So,
That's phenomenal. I love to
yeah.
hear it. Yeah, you said 9 out of 10. I would say more like 98 out of 100, or maybe even
Yeah.
99 point something. Yeah, it's like huge panic, low actual threat, right? It's one of those things that we see come along from time to time. But really, all Amazon is doing is making sure that the sellers on their platform are selling authorized inventory, because there's so many really good counterfeit versions of just about everything out there now. So they want to say, hey, where'd you buy this from? And
Yeah.
then they'll find out where you bought it from. And they'll call the brand and say, hey, we got a seller buying stuff from this particular retailer or website or distributor or wholesale. Are they a legitimate authorized source for your products? And if the brand says yes, you're good, which means every
Exactly.
Walmart is good. You know, every Walmart,
Exactly.
every store you walk into is good. Like there's just tens of thousands of good places. But if you get into these, these strange bargain bin basement liquidation shelf pull,
Right.
warehouse stuff, and you think you're getting legitimate stuff just because you got an invoice. No,
Yeah.
do not sell that stuff on Amazon. You're putting your account at risk. And you understood this. And that's the other thing I heard that I love, and we are gonna dig a little deeper, is you've mentioned 3P a couple times. We're talking about 3P Mercury, otherwise known as AKA the system, silentjimdotcom/the system. Thanks for reminding me that you're a user there. But when Amazon said, hey, we want to see all your history on this ASIN, you don't have to go dig through 8 shoeboxes. You
Copy
put
and
the
paste.
ASIN in,
Copy the ASIN, paste it in my purchase orders. There we go.
brings all of
So
them up.
it took me less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you've got the report you
Yeah.
need and you can send it right over with confidence. I love that. And a good shout out to Jeff Schick too, but I'm glad you didn't need him for this one.
Yeah. Just with 3P too, when I was in the beta group, and still am, I guess, in that beta group, for anybody that is thinking or questioning, is 3P for them? I was one of those people that was questioning. I was like, well, I'm a small seller. Do I really need this? Am I in over my head? And it's like, oh, absolutely. If you've never made a sale before, if you're a bare bones beginner, 3P you need. It keeps
Yeah.
everything so organized,
Yeah.
from, tracking ASINs, your purchase orders, all of that. And yeah, so it's been a huge benefit.
Man, I appreciate
So,
the shout out. I know Khang is he's putting his heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears into
oh
this
yeah.
thing, making it a beautiful tool. And we got
Yeah.
hundreds of users at this point. A lot of them, almost all of them, saying things like what you're saying. And I love the observation you made. And because we have people calling the office these days and saying, hey, I'm new. Do I need this? Yeah, start here, because the
100%.
alternative is you're going to have spreadsheets and sticky notes and a conglomerate Frankenstein together system. It's
Yes.
just not necessary anymore. And
Well, then you'll have
appreciate the
for
shout out.
old purchase orders to upload. You might as well just, if you're new, you start with it. Everything's all in one spot.
Yeah, and you can
So,
scale your team. You can give them access only to what they need. Like, let's say you end up getting a second, third, or fourth virtual assistant. You can give
mhm,
them all the limited access that they need without seeing what anyone else is working on. It's a very robust system that's being built. Yeah, and I bet you're excited about
absolutely.
the Walmart functionality that's coming soon as well, of
I'm
course.
excited. Yeah. Yeah. So it's nice that, think I was messaging Khang just the other day. So he's hoping within the next couple months to have that going. So really looking forward to that.
Yep. Certainly by the time we have our conference in Florida, that should be rocking.
Yeah.
Are you coming to our conference?
I won't be this year. I was there last year, but this year I'm going to try to go to the Business Legends in St. Louis in March.
Absolutely. I'll be.
So I'm going to try to go to that one.
And that's great. A couple of
So
great things on the calendar for sure.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
it. Well, what else can you tell us about your business?
Yeah, one of the things at the trade show, which was amazing that happened, ended up making a connection with and a relationship with a brand. Some of their products are on Amazon, and they have one particular product that is not on Amazon. So we ended up building a relationship, and I'm actually working with Jonathan Bricker on creating that listing and getting that ready. We should have that launched here in the next week or two. So I'm looking forward to get that first order placed and get that going. So
Under your account or under
we
the
under there. So it'll be I guess I'll be the exclusive seller for it because it's branded and trademarked under their account.
right.
So
It's almost a PPP model in a way.
yes. Yeah.
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 Which is, for those who don't know, proven product partnering is when you help brands get onto Amazon and you get a percentage of the sales. So is the account, to be clear, is the account under your name or theirs? Not that it matters. It's beautiful either way.
It's
It's under theirs?
under theirs.
Got you. So you helped
Yes.
them. Did they already have an Amazon selling account?
They do.
Okay. So you're just adding a new ASIN that you're going to manage to their
Correct.
existing catalog. That's a pretty unique
Correct.
setup. I like that.
Yes.
You don't hear that
Yeah,
very
'cause
often.
the conversation started off as, just talking about their product and telling them what I do. And, they said their other products that they had, they sell them on Amazon. And then this other one, they said, this over here, we're not selling that on Amazon, but hey, if you want that, you do that. So it was wild.
That's
Just
really
going to
cool.
going to
So
those trade shows and talking to people. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, least
yeah. Conversations and
opportunities.
relationships are what lead you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So what are the details of that arrangement, if you don't mind sharing? Like, do you get a percent of all total sales, or is there a length of time to this agreement? If you don't mind breaking it down, just to help others kind
No,
of.
I would say it's very fluid, Jim. It's definitely very fluid as we kind of progress. I think initially what we're going to be doing now is I'm just going to be the exclusive seller of that listing. I have letter of authorization, all of that from the brand. So it's really going to be buying from them at, wholesale cost, buying in bulk. And then I'm going to be I don't know yet if I'm going to be having them ship it directly to Amazon for me or have it shipped here for us to do all the prep for it. We're still kind of figuring all that out as we go. So, but yeah, for now, it's just going to be me. This is the exclusive seller for that ASIN.
Sense. Yeah, it's an
So-
ASIN that's in their catalog with properly branded through them. They're giving you exclusive access to the product. There's a chance other sellers could wind up finding that product through other channels and selling on that same ASIN. Correct?
Yeah.
Like,
And that is something that we talked about too. And I think we're getting creative with our pricing to try to price it correctly to maybe avoid other sellers jumping on it. Almost if they see it and come across it, they say, I'm not profitable if I jump on this.
Yeah. Another opportunity that's open to you, maybe you've thought this far, maybe you haven't, but is it in the food category by any chance? It's not? Okay. Regardless, I was just curious. You can set up bundles or multi-packs, and people who don't have a letter of authorization like you do, they're going to struggle with some of that. And they're going to struggle to be able to do some of those creative things that only you can do. If you could get a unique product or some kind of unique angle that would really help you lock in. And that, I think, would open the door to the rest of this brand's catalog as well, if they saw some of these creative listings that you're able to build starting to do
We're
well.
hoping for it. Yeah, we just saw the whole image deck of the listing that was created this past week, and it looks phenomenal. I shared it with the brand, and they were blown away. So we're hoping this turns into a deeper relationship with their current ASINs that they have, and we can improve sales on those, improve the whole image deck, and advertising, all that. So we're hoping it leads to that as well.
That's an opportunity. I'm glad we went down this road a little bit, Brendan, because from my vantage point, I absolutely love the REPLENS model. I love how it's changed so many people's lives. We've got plenty of people who still do just that model. But the
Mhm.
thing I'm always encouraging people to consider is, what other doors of opportunity does this base set of skills open up for you? And you're a great case study. And you haven't even been doing this more than a year yet. You're
Yeah.
still new. You were on our
Yeah.
podcast as a replens only OA online arbitrage sourcing guy. Just a few months ago, this past
Yeah.
summer, 6 months or so ago, right? And here
Yeah.
you are now. You've pivoted into wholesale, and you're building relationships with the brands that you're selling, and you're opening
Yeah.
up new streams of income and new revenue opportunities. I
Yeah.
love to see that. Instead of people kind of getting in a rut, nose to the grindstone, let's build systems. Let's step back. What are the doors are now open to me? So well
Yeah.
done. Because once you've
Thank
got
you.
one brand that likes you,
Yeah.
you've served them well, you can use that as your resume. Let's
Exactly.
go. Right? You
And
can have
that's what we're
multiple.
hoping. Yeah, we're hoping that this opportunity kind of creates that base foundation to
Mhm.
both say, hey, look at what we did here, and then say, well, we could do this for you.
Yeah.
So
And the numbers are on your side. Of the hundreds of thousands of brands that are out there, I would estimate that less than 5% of them are happy with what's happening on Amazon right now
yeah,
with their brand and how they're represented and how their sales are going. That's a lot of unhappy brands that are saying, hey, we need a Brendan. We need someone who knows what they're doing. The brand is saying, we're good at making stuff and we
right.
understand the retail channel because that's where 90% of our sales are happening. But this
Yes.
Amazon monster that's growing constantly, someone help us. Huge,
Exactly. I
huge
think the
opportunity.
situation that this brand was in,
Yep.
even their current ASINs that they have, while they're doing well on Amazon, they could be doing better. They could be doing so much better.
Right.
But their main focus is the retail space.
Hmm.
So
Rightfully so. Right.
yeah,
I mean, traditional
yeah,
retail is still, you know, at least 80%, if not 85 or more percent of what most brands are doing. E-commerce, everyone thinks it's huge. It hasn't taken over the world yet. It's 15 to 18%,
yeah,
right? But it's growing so fast and cannot be ignored. And Amazon is half of that rapidly growing monster.
yeah,
So we're in a position, you and I, Brendan, and the listeners to this show, to where there's very few brands out there that, with even minimal skills, we can't go and help in a dramatic way. And earning your stripes, from my perspective, is learning the replens game, learning what works, what doesn't work, how
yeah,
to fill Amazon's shelf space the right way without getting into trouble, where are the lines in the sand. Once you've done that, you can stay there. You can build a multiple seven-figure business there if you want. But once you've earned your stripes there a little bit, like you did, $10,000 a month, hey, let's expand. Let's
yeah.
get creative.
Yeah, yeah, I would say right now, and even when we were doing OA, we usually stay around 100 aces in our catalog. Give or take a few on either end. But I'm not some big company that has hundreds and hundreds of ASINs. It's like, hey, here's what works. I'll add to this as we find new things and new suppliers. I do have still some OA items that I replan, and sometimes I like throwing in other OA's items in the mix, even RA. If I'm at a Walmart, a Target, I don't make special trips, but if I'm there, you betcha I'm going to peruse the clearance section real quick to just
Sure.
pad the stats, pad the numbers, and I feel, hey, you know what? I'm here. If there's some things here that make sense, which we're at the store this morning and did that. Yeah, so I still added things like that to the
Yeah.
catalog.
I call it lifestyle sourcing. I'm out and about,
Yeah.
and we've got shared team. We're using 3P Mercury now, a shared team approach to shopping. We've got a bunch of different shoppers at any given time, and that sort of thing going on in our business. But just kind of as I'm doing life, if I find myself in a retail environment, I can find $20 and here and there and $10 bills and $50 bills anytime I want. And it's just, once you understand these things, there really is opportunity everywhere.
For
I love how you're
sure.
staying flexible and fantastic. Well, what else did you want to talk about? This is a great update, and I love how much you've advocated for 3P Mercury. We're so excited about that. But anywhere else you want to go with your story, just getting us up to speed.
Yeah. Even with local retailers, places that I shop myself.
Mhm.
I'll find the owner or find the manager and just have a conversation. Hey, this is what I do. If you ever have any inventory that you can't move or you're trying to get rid of, let me know. I'll be happy to take a look at everything. And if I can get some of this off your hands, I will. So I really like that approach as well with local retailers. I've got one bigger box store that kind of have that relationship with, and I have my business cards. I give the manager my cards and call me. Call me
Mhm.
if you ever have inventory you can't move, you want to get rid of. I'll be more than happy to stop by.
Yeah, and
So
that's such a smart way. We've always advocated for doing business that way, Brendan. There used to be a school of thought that said, "Hey, you're a reseller. You got to kind of fly under the radar. You got to kind of stay quiet and keep your hoodie on and your sunglasses and do your thing quietly. And if someone looks at you, you kind of move along and hopefully they don't ask questions." We've never done the business that way. We're all in. You show up, you're helpful, you're kind, you introduce yourself, you ask for the manager, tell him what you do, make sure it's okay with him. You even say things like, "Hey, I'm about to buy all 40 units of something you have back there. Would you rather me wait and like order a case from you? Would that be better for you? I don't want to create inconvenience for your customers." Right. You do those little things like that. You put your shopping cart back. They notice, they see you coming. They want you in their business. They want to do business with you. That can only pay positive dividends over time. That's the right way to do this business if you're dealing with retail or any other setting for that matter. But yeah, you want people to know, like, and trust you. Basically, that's the key to bigger business. So I love that your instincts have been from day one to do things that way. Well done, man.
yeah. Yeah, there's even other local suppliers, wholesalers. I kind of some of the first accounts that I had was with them, and they're really great. So I'm looking to, look at the couple hours away from here in some other cities to see what's down in a couple other cities that are near me to just see what suppliers are there and try to create a relationship with them as well.
Very good. Yeah. So what's
So
your goal? What are your goals? You mentioned a little bit of them, but where are you heading? What would you
yeah,
like to see,
I
say, a
think
year from now? Where would you like to be?
our short-term goal would be I would love to get to 50,000 in monthly revenue. We right now operate anywhere between 12 and 15% margin. Our average sales price is about $44. So yeah, I think with just a little bit of uptick in inventory spend, we shouldn't have an issue getting to where we want to get. So we just got a new supplier earlier this week as well. The category I'm in, I'm all the way down at a very specific niche, and it's been working out well. It's brands I know, products I use myself, and I found that it really helps when I can talk the same lingo and have a conversation about the brands, the products, and things like that. So that's really helped us.
Yeah, certainly can't hurt to know the product when you're talking
Yeah.
with maybe representing them on Amazon as
Right.
a as an exclusive or wanting to be help them out with their brand. Yeah,
Yeah.
phenomenal. So, talk me through your decision making process for people who aren't at the stage you're at yet,
Mhm.
where they're pursuing wholesalers and doing some of these partnership kind of deals and conversation. Talk me through your decision making process on what kind of ASINs you're looking for and what kind of strategies you've used, what kind of decision points are involved in your process of, is this a product I should buy? Is this an ASIN I should test against? I always like to hear how people process through those
Yeah.
decisions.
One thing that I think a lot of people sometimes get confused when they want to go to wholesale and then the conversations about test buys. You can still do test buys with wholesale. Every wholesaler is different with their minimum order quantities. So, we'll do that as well. We'll maybe buy, we don't have really strict minimum order quantities with this wholesaler that we primarily purchase from. So we can buy a couple of units, 2 or 3 units of it, send those in, sell them, see how it goes.
Mhm.
A lot of them are well above the buy box, what we sell. And I really honestly account that to our repricer. We have our strategy set in our repricer, and if I was to go through all of our wholesale items, we are capturing a lot of sales, 10 to $20 above the buy box. So, these are items that, if you were to look at the Keepa chart, they look like a great product, very stable. That's one of the nice things that I do like about wholesale is, yes, seeing how stable that price stays typically. So,
I love it. Well, I want to spend some time. You mentioned above buy box, which that's a big, exciting concept and
yeah,
buzzword for me. For the
yeah,
listeners who don't know what we're talking about, let me just get them up to speed real quick, and I'm going to spend some time with you on that, Brendan.
sure.
I gave 200 examples on our Facebook group. This is a completely free resource you can go check out. silentjim.com/BB70 is a link straight to a Facebook post where I've given 200 examples of products from my catalog that we are selling well above buy box, steadily sellers in most cases, meaning they're sold consistently. Because the thing that I don't want sellers to get trapped in is this black hole of thinking, I got to win the buy box to win on Amazon. I got to win more sales by winning more buy box. That's the only way to win the Amazon game. It's just not true. And we demonstrate and prove over and over and over again. You can ignore the buy box completely when you're pricing your products. And it sounds like you're doing some of that. And I've
Yeah.
educated as best I can sellers. And actually we've contacted Keepa and had them build in some new features specifically to help us find these ASINs. We're very excited about this because my theory is, and I'm sharpening the facts and the data to support my theory at all the time, is there are millions of underserved shelf spaces at Amazon's warehouses where there's just not enough ASINs there to serve. There's not enough product there to serve these busy ASINs in Amazon's
Right.
hundreds of warehouses. And you can find it pretty easy. And when you find it, you price it well above buy box, and a busy shopper who values their time more than saving a few dollars is going to snag that unit for way above buy box. And last thing I'll say is that data point will never show up on any chart.
Right.
You don't know until you test it. So far too
Exactly.
many sellers are testing prices only in the buy box instead of
Yeah.
testing high and dropping down as a worst case scenario.
We pay very
With all
close
that being
attention to our
said,
break even.
yes,
So yeah, with the whole buy box, above buy box strategy, we pay very close attention to our break even. And what a lot of the ASINs that we're on are FBM sellers. There might be, and it'll fluctuate as FBA sellers go in and out of stock, but I'll hold my price. Well, I'll let those other people sell out, let them sell out, and I'm going to hold my price, and then I'm going to be left, and then I'm going to capture those sales.
that's a great way
So,
to do it
so
too.
we
That's
do
right.
pay attention to a lot of that.
Yeah, outstanding. Yeah, there's so many ways to get more margin if you're intentional about your pricing, and
Yeah.
and there's so much more in the catalog that's available to you than you first think. The thing that new sellers get trapped doing is they'll scan barcodes at Walmart clearance aisle and go, well, this says it's $22 at Walmart. Let's look at Amazon, $26. Ah, there's no money there. I'm going to move on, and they think that's the game, but it's
Yeah.
just not. That that product that's full priced in the Walmart aisle, and it looks like the buy box is about the same. You could sell it for 10, 20 more dollars than the
Yeah.
buy box. And I love that you're spending some time on that.
Well,
So
when
do you
people
start all of
scan,
your, go ahead.
when people scan, then they can't see potential multi packs as well.
Oh, right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
scanning is so limiting.
Yeah.
It's like it's like someone who thinks they've experienced fishing by dropping, one of those little toy fishing rods into their, some
Yeah.
8-year-old's goldfish tank. Like, yeah, I've gone fishing before. There's nothing there. Like, oh, you don't understand. How about a pond? How about a lake? How about the ocean?
Right.
Right? It's just a matter of perspective.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so tell me, when you list your new ASINs, do you tend to start high every time?
We do. Yeah, we do. Yep. We'll set our minimum in our repricer, and we'll set that minimum on the higher end, and we'll let it hang out, and we'll monitor it. That's our catalogs, not like I said, some massive catalogs. That makes it relatively easy to monitor those things. So yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Very good. Well, one of the things that popped in my head that I just want to, we're kind of jumping back in time, but that's the way my brain works sometimes. You said, you've had about 100 ASINs or so at any given time. Just as a fun data point, I heard today we've got a 3P Mercury user who has over 18,000 ASINs that they're managing
Wow.
in a replens business with,
Wow.
isn't that crazy? That's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
I love
That is
it.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you've got a system that tells you, hey, it's time to go buy more, hey, time to back away from this one, hey, we need 3 more units of this one, and it's completely automated, it was taking, you know, multiple hours of several days per week for her to reorder the stuff that she needed. Now it's down to about an hour a week,
Yeah,
and she flies through. She knows what she needs to order and gets it done, right?
that's amazing.
The ability to automate. I know I'm kind of jumping back, but I wanted to throw that out there. I knew that you would appreciate and
Yeah.
understand, like a
And
guy who's
I
seeing the
think that
value.
with automation, the VA that I have, he's been with me full time since June. And I think, a long-term vision would be him as our, lead head VA.
Hmm.
And then we get another, say, part-time VA
Yep.
to pick up what he was doing, pick up the sourcing, and then he can handle monitoring, restock and potentially get into, as a purchasing VA role. So we definitely have a long-term vision for what we want to do. And we're just trying to kind of
Yep.
slowly get there and slowly build there.
That's the way to
So,
do it.
and I
Yeah.
can see how we can get ahead of ourselves really quick. And that's where we tell ourselves, well, let's just pump the brakes, let's slow down and
Mhm.
just kind of slow, like we'll get there.
Yeah,
We'll
you can
definitely
get
get there.
overconfident and take risks. It kind of reminds me, I've never used this analogy before, but it just popped in my head, Brendan, where, they say that airline pilots, I don't remember what the exact number of hours are, but new airline pilots rarely have accidents, rarely make mistakes because they're just so focused. That's kind of like new drivers, right? I've been talking to our youngest teenage daughter about this, and she understands it. Like, as a new driver, you're so cautious, both hands on the wheel. Your heart's racing a little bit. You're very careful. You're far less likely to have an accident in that scenario. That's kind of the stage of the new seller. Where
Right.
it starts to get dangerous is when you start thinking you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
200 hours in, right? That's when most people have their car. Their confidence level has exceeded their skill level,
Mhm.
and they start making dumb decisions. You can do the same thing as an Amazon seller. Like, I got it. I got it. I found this great deal on these 400 units on this pallet. This guy down the road, he's going to give them to me a deal, and I'm gonna flip those for a quick buck. And you've just destroyed all future possibility. It's the equivalent of a catastrophic car accident as
Right.
someone who's been driving about a year. It's like, yeah, you got
Yeah.
too confident. You thought you knew all there was to know, but you didn't. So I love that
Exactly.
you guys are doing the slow and steady. That's the way to
Exactly.
do it. Relationship focused with plenty of bright opportunities on the horizon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're looking forward to it. And we are. Yeah, we're excited to keep growing this and keep doing what we're doing with Walmart. So it's going well.
Very good. Well,
So
I want to spend
we've
some
been,
time.
yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned your virtual assistant, and
Yeah.
we talk about them in our community like people know what we're talking about. I'm assuming it's Filipino, correct? What's the hourly rate that you're paying him, if you don't mind?
So I pay him, what does it break down? I pay him 160 every 2 weeks. And he does about 30 hours a week for me. So,
$160 every 2 weeks, $80 a week, 30.
so like
So
$2 and 65
$2.
cents
Yep.
should be,
Yep.
yeah, is what that, yeah, yeah.
And we've thrown that number out there, $2.50 plus per hour. And some people are going to be shocked by that. Like, what? You're exploiting that poor man. No, the average hourly wage in the Philippines is $1 per hour US. $1 per hour. That's the average. Think of that as the minimum wage. So you're basically paying him over 2 times minimum wage.
Yeah.
And we hear people paying $3, $4 for hours. People kind of earn their way up and maybe giving them bonuses and things. But we've had people walk away from medical careers in the Philippines for $4 an hour gigs with sellers in our community before. The point I'm making is that's how far the US dollar goes in their economy there. So you're kind of crazy to ignore that leverage point where a couple dollars an hour and you've got a brilliant, focused, trainable, all in emotionally, loves America, loves e-commerce,
Mhm.
loves entrepreneurship, working hard for your business for a couple dollars
Exactly.
an hour, right? So the point I'm trying to make is you've got to expand. I'm not talking to you, Brendan, but just the listeners. You got to expand your vision of what it means to have a business and have to build systems, you've got an army of people like your virtual assistant, literally hundreds of thousands of people who speak English well, know how to use the internet. They're ready to be trained, ready to do some work. So I love your vision for, I want to get a few more of them on the team, build it out over time. In our community alone, I was estimating the other day that we've impacted tens of thousands of Filipino families
Oh, I
by
believe it.
hiring people who otherwise didn't have any work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't
No, I
make
mean,
work with
he's
an
a
internet connection.
crucial part of our business.
Yeah.
You know, I do minimal sourcing. He really is the one of the backbone, the big part of the backbone of our business. And it's phenomenal. And I think a lot of people, when they look at first getting a VA, they sometimes don't understand everything that it could entail, the training. Like you have to pour knowledge and training into that VA, and you will get that out of them. Because
Yes.
people might think, oh, well, the VA is going to fix my business and I'm going to be running a big business now. And it's like, that's completely not the case. So, yeah, definitely. We stay focused. We train him. You know, he asks questions. He's engaged.
Right.
That's one of the things I love. Like you said, you know, he loves everything about the business. So it just helps me, helps him. It's a great relationship.
Yeah. It's such an undertapped resource that's right there for any of us.
Right.
Any system that can be, which is pretty much every system. When it comes to an Amazon business specifically, I encourage, when I'm talking about multiple streams of income, you, as a leader of a business, you've got to always be asking yourself, is the task I'm doing right now something that only I can do? And if the answer is no, I could reasonably conceive of someone else being trained to do this. Eventually, that's exactly what you're going to want to do. Sometimes the pushback I
Yeah.
get is, well, I kind of like putting the boxes together and, filling and doing the ship. I kind of like that part of, I kind of like going to the stores and ordering product. And I kind of like this, or I kind of like, that's irrelevant.
Mhm.
If you
Yeah.
like it, do it as a hobby once you've got an automated business.
Right.
Do it on the side. Break out the boxes in
Right.
front of the TV game on Sundays. A football game, and they could put boxes
Yeah.
on tape. Tape on boxes. None of
Yeah.
us like it so much that we can envision that, right? So you've got to build systems
Right.
that can be automated. That's how you build multiple income streams. That's how you build scalable, sustainable systems. And
Yeah.
when the resource you can use are people who are desperate for a $2 or $3 an hour job, and it would change the trajectory of their family's life, it
Mhm.
becomes a lot easier to make those decisions. Like, what? I can have them doing this.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, an extra $100 a week out of my pocket. Are you kidding me? Yeah, let's go.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, we talk about these kind of things in the Proven Amazon course. We have modules: how to find a VA, how to train them, and I strongly prefer training a trainable VA over finding one who says, I know all there is to know about Amazon, because they've probably been trained on all kinds of just terrible strategies and ideas
Right.
that are going to just sabotage your business. And you're going to be one of multiple people that they're trying to serve in some cookie cutter fashion. I'm not as impressed with someone who
Exactly.
says they got Amazon on their resume. I want to train them up. Maybe some
Right.
minimal experience, but like you said, this VA you have 30 hours a week for you. That's mostly their full-time gig. I prefer
It
to see.
is. Yeah, he has a family business, a family farm that they have, and then he does this.
That's
So,
phenomenal. Yeah,
yeah.
I love it. I've seen people take trips to the Philippines and go visit their VAs, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
so
that'd be
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, such
That
a
would be.
cool element of this business. Well, what else do you want to cover? I think we've had a really good episode, and I appreciate you hopping on here with me today, Brendan. Anything else on your mind? Any questions for me, or any tips for the listeners? Anything like that?
You know, Jim, I think that pretty much brings us up to speed with where we're at and where we're headed. And, maybe we'll do a third podcast, 8 months from now and see where things are at, and hopefully have a new conversation,
I absolutely love
So,
it. Please do. As
yeah,
you hit those new milestones, you said your goal was 50K. Hey, man, as that starts
yeah,
to come into vision, let us
yep,
know, because we have heard from listeners. They love to hear from guests who are kind of on a trajectory, and like, hey, where were they? Where are they now? It
right.
builds so much validation and credibility that, yeah, that you can build your family's business and income around the concepts we teach around here. Lots of
Oh,
people have done it
100%.
over a long period of time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is this your
100%.
full-time gig?
I mean, I do real estate as well. So I'm pretty much a full-time realtor. So I do that. I do this. I don't remember, but I used to, for 15 years, I was a fireman.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
about 2 years ago when I left the fire department, and I was doing real estate as well while I was at the fire department. So I was always used to kind of juggling two different careers, two different jobs. So when I left the firehouse, it was just doing real estate. And that's when, I always kind of knew about Amazon, and, then finally started looking into it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and give this a shot. Let's give this a whirl. And gave it everything I got, and it's working out. It's panning out.
Yeah,
So
you fit it into the cracks of your life. It's a very flexible business model, and you're doing
exactly.
very well with it. I love the update, Brendan. Great seeing you again, man.
Awesome. You too.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your time. Well, hey, I'm gonna talk to the listeners for just a second who hung out with Brendan and I today. If you enjoyed this conversation, I've got some really good news for you. We've got hundreds of interviews with successful, proven Amazon course students on our show. Just scroll back in time and enjoy so many great personalities and stories and family situations. We've got people who stepped away from huge careers and businesses to be home with their families, people who wanted to do something with their family, get their kids involved, others who just enjoy the flexibility. I got people who travel full time and do this business. E-commerce, specifically Amazon reselling as the entry point, is what we're the most excited about around here. But there's so many great stories that you can enjoy and be inspired by. So thanks for listening today. And one more time, hey, Brendan, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you, my friend.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And to the listeners, know this, we'll have a lot more great episodes. My calendar is stuffed with really cool stories from this community, great updates, and brand new students who are killing it. Hey, if you want to have a conversation with our team, I'll end here. Get on to silentjimdotcom/book a call. Go to that page. You can text us, you can call us, or schedule an appointment. We'd love to help you get from where you are now to where you'd like to be and help you build out a roadmap using our free, low cost, or maybe even some coaching resources to help you get there. Let's have a conversation. So we'll have another great episode for you very soon. Thanks for joining us today. God bless the business building warriors. Thanks for joining us for today's episode, but don't leave yet. I got a couple minutes with a good friend of mine, Khang. We brought him on the show a good handful of times over the years, and every week or so we get a short update from him on some incredible software that's changing how Amazon REPLENS sellers run their businesses. I'm talking about 3P Mercury is the name of the software. You can find out more about it at silentjim.com/the system, all one word. Khang is the creator, and I'm excited to see what he has for us this week. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, Jim. Yeah, I just wanted to share kind of an excitement that I had. Like, so when we started building the software, I really meant to build the software just for me. I didn't mean to actually build the software for anyone. And the reason I built it is to manage our online arbitrage business. Because I just started seeing how messy it was, and I did not want to go down the route of hiring more and more people just to manage the mess. I really wanted to systemize, the process, enhance communication between the teams, and really kind of separate out roles and functions of the team, and have them be able to, do their daily tasks without having to, communicate, like, send messages to each other and that kind of thing. Who's doing what and what happened with this ASIN, et cetera. So I really, did it just for me. And I built that software specific to my business. But as we released this software out to the community, people were saying, "Hey, what about this feature? What about that feature?" And it just dawned on me, like, oh, you know what? I never thought about adding that because I don't do that in my business, but you guys do. So I started this down this this journey, which I really didn't intend to do, but it actually, I think, is the most exciting part of the software, is that it became quickly a community built software, like a crowdsourcing software where all the users are coming up with all of the features that they want. And since we started this this beta release 7 months ago, we've implemented over 300 features, some from minor efficiency tweaks to major rewrites on my part, where it was just, it just made the software so much better than what I originally came up with. And now that's kind of been our slogan, our motto is this is a community built software, and we're going to build
the first one, to my knowledge. in the Amazon seller market, there's a lot of tools out there, but this is the first one that was crowdsourced in its production. And we've had hundreds of people contribute. Like you said, I didn't realize there'd been over 300 improvements based on crowd suggestions. And we've got a lot of great ones coming. Walmart functionality is coming very soon. So it completely manages the workflow for that business as well if you sell on Walmart, which we love to see happen. We love to see multiple income streams, right? So your team's doing a great job. Yeah, well done. Very robust community.
Yeah, we've built so many things, and if you've been part of our community from the beginning till now, I mean, the software is just completely changed and different, and it's just morphed into quite an amazing thing. I'm really excited about the fact that our users are building the software that they want to use, and I think that's a pretty cool concept.
And for those who haven't heard of this tool before, it's important to remind you and to mention that this is the software that Khang used to run a $3 million REPLENS business, thousands of ASINs being sold, different products coming and going constantly with a tiny team. That's the most impressive thing to me that really got my attention is how small your team was. It was a couple people running a business that I see a lot of others having a business your size with a team of, say, 12 people running that business. No, 2 people. And you weren't even all that involved. You just checked the numbers and the system ran the whole thing. silentjimdotcom/the system. Go listen to podcast episode 754 if you want to get to know Khang a little bit better. One of, if not my favorite episodes of the past several years, Khang and I hanging out and going into some good stuff. You need to hear that. But anything else on your mind, Khang, before we wrap this one up? I think we gave people some good things to chew on today.
No, just looking forward to what you guys come up with next. And, I'll be announcing out to you guys like all the new features that you built, you came up with, to the future episodes.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll have you back again next week then for more updates, okay?